yes, people. It's the top of the hour right now, 9:01 to be exact. And we have some special guests in the studios here with me. Gotta say good morning to my good friends, DJ and Joost from the Freegan Food Foundation. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Elektra.
Good morning, love.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you here. And I know that, Freegan Food has been around for quite some time. Maybe just a little quick history for those of the listeners that don't know about you, who doesn't know about Freegan Foods. And then we come into the real reason why we're here today.
I'll try to keep it short.
Yes.
Joost and I used to live on the island from 2010 till 2013. We were teachers back then at Motions. That's NIA now. Then I have to go closer?
Yes.
Then we moved back to Holland, and when Irma hit the island, we were not here. And when we saw what Irma did to the island, we were both devastated. And there was only one thing that came to our mind, that we had to go back to help. So this is actually a pretty personal story also, because the island had treated us so good in the 3 years that we were here and we were teaching. And we wanted to come back and help and do something in return for the island.
Of course.
And that happened like 5 months after Irma. Joost and I came back in February, and we started with giving out free meals. We just drove into all the areas that were how to say that, where everything was damaged and where the people really needed food. And literally from the back of our truck, we made big meals, and we gave a lot of food to everybody back then. And basically that's how it started, and we did that for 5 weeks. And I thought it's not enough and we need to sustain it. And long story short, 7 years later, we're still here and we run a food bank, and we have a total of 3,300 individuals that reached out to us.
3,000?
Yeah, to ask for help. 3,300 individuals that contacted the foundation to ask for help.
For food?
Yeah.
Wow.
In the past 7
years. So, and I mean, it's accumulated to 3,000 families, zeg maar, that, need that assist for food.
That took the effort to contact us, to ask us for, we need assistance. Can you guys please help us? Well, that's a lot, right? Yeah,
3,000 families of St.Maarten needing food. That's like, on the Beltrekker, there's a problem in our country.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah. If we have 3,000 people from 40,000 inhabitants that live here, that's a problem.
Yeah, and if you think that it's the 3,000 individuals and there's like a family behind them, so
that's what I'm saying. Total, it's more than that.
It'll be like 10,000 persons in total. Yeah,
it's like 1/4 of our community that is not being fed or cannot sustain themselves enough,
or at least things, and
can use the help,
effort, and also doesn't feel the shame to ask for help, because I also know that there's still a lot of people that do need help, but they don't dare to ask.
But I can understand, and of course, Irma was a very terrible, traumatic thing for many people in the community. A lot of people lost everything, and had to start back from scratch. And I know that, food is something that everybody should be entitled to, and you shouldn't deny anybody a plate of food.
No.
And sometimes it's almost like a shame. Sometimes you want to feel like, I'm hungry, I want to feed my family, but I can't, I don't have money. So you guys have been doing this for a very long time. Then you turned it into a foundation, the Freegan Food Foundation. And of course you continue to help families, but you also found another creative way to help keep it sustainable. You started Tweedehands.
Yeah, we have a thrift store as well, because we were sharing out free food, and then of course you meet people and they go like, well, I have a bag of clothes that I'm not doing anything, and I guess you see people who need clothing. Do you take it? And in the beginning we just said yes, we take everything, but then of course the van that we have runs on gas. We have to pay the bills, and we rent a building. So then we said, okay, let's try to start a thrift store, a secondhand store, and see if we can make a little bit of profit from that, and so we can sustain the food
program.
That's been, we're in the Rifle building on Pontville Road.
Yes,
and that's actually going great. great. I mean, we have fantastic stuff, and it's really nice that we don't throw away everything anymore. So so that's that, and then DJ cooks as well. He's a chef, and he's still making meals, and you can actually buy those as well.
Yes. So you buy a meal, and then another meal goes to a family, correct?
Exactly.
And he brought what you brought for me? Vegetable soup. Okay, we're gonna have to put that in the fridge.
Yeah, that's your lunch for today.
Thank you so much. And of course, the thrift store, which is a great idea. And let me tell you something. I love thrifting.
Yeah,
I love thrifting. I think it's a wonderful thing that you can find hidden treasures in thrift stores, or you can make things and upgrade it or whatever. I love thrift stores. I just love
them. No, and we have fantastic stuff. I mean, every time I open a box, what is donated, and I go like, oh, okay, this time we do designer clothing. It's fine because people just donate a lot. Also because we have a lot of people coming and going to the island, of course. And then after, with the expats, if they leave after 1 year or after 3 years, you don't take everything back.
No.
So then they leave it by us, and then that's good stuff. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Sometimes still with the price tag on.
Okay. Wow.
Really?
So sometimes you have some new stuff in between.
Shoes, clothes. Yeah.
But also like the little shop that is on Pinel Island.
Yes.
Little shop. When they change their whatever they have, their summer season inventory, then whatever they think they cannot sell anymore, they give it to us.
Oh,
which
amazing!
Is just brand new jewelry,
and
clothes, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, of course, thinking about the thrift shop to continue having your food program, it's wonderful. But in all essence, you still need money to buy different things to run such a food bank operation. Correct?
Yeah, you just need a steady monthly income basically to make sure that we can pay all the salaries and gas and the insurances and the rent of the building.
Of course.
And unfortunately, and that's why we're here. We have had a setback with one of our biggest sponsors.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Yeah, we had one sponsor that he came about 1 year after that we started.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's an American man, and he never wanted any credit for it, but he sponsored us from the moment that he heard what we were doing. He was like, "This is great. You need to keep doing it."
Okay.
And I want to make sure that that you can keep going. So for the past 6 years, a little over 6 years, he's been sponsoring us like literally with thousands of dollars each month.
Every month.
Wow.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because of Trump's tariffs, he cannot do it anymore.
Ooh.
And he's pulling out per the 1st of January.
Yeah.
So we've gotten the news 2 weeks ago, and we are
that must be devastating news.
It is.
There was one day before my birthday.
Oh.
It was September 29th, 7:05 in the evening. We got the email, and we were both like, this could mean the end of Freegan Food Foundation. If we don't find replacement for that amount of money, there's no way that we are going to be able to continue with the foundation.
Now, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, okay? I mean, a lot of people know about Freegan Food Foundation, know about your great works. I think earlier in the year, you even were nominated for Appeltje van Oranje. You made it to one of the rounds in Curaçao. You got a donation, and of course, to run an operation that you have feeding 300 families, and despite of, having the thrift store and the operational costs on top of that, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Even though you get, people say, but we gave them food and we give them, supplies and all that kind of stuff. Why they need so much money? How much money are we talking about?
That we have the two biggest programs that we run. One is the food waste program, where supermarkets donate their whatever they have left over, surplus, whatever you want to call it, like the food waste, and that's one part, and we give that away to people. But then we have the other part, the food market, which is literally the food bank, where people come every week for the groceries, and those groceries are not waste. They are bought by us, by wholesalers, by Prime, by Divico, wherever we buy it.
Okay.
So it's good stuff. It's the same that you and I buy in the supermarket.
Right.
And we literally buy that.
It is every month.
And that is $10,000 a month.
$10,000 a month.
Yeah, for
buying the groceries.
Yeah, for 250 people.
So
and that is while people receive $12.50 per week. In groceries. Of course, we buy wholesale, so the prices are lower than in a normal market.
Of course.
So, but still, $12.50 a week. What would you do with $12.50? You will not be able to survive. So it is the pack of rice, and it's the beans, and so it's like
the bare minimum.
The bare minimum that we can give people, and still that is $10,000 a month.
Yeah. Wow.
And still many people appreciate it and take use of it and depend on it also.
Yeah, and there's still people knocking on our door, of course, because of the limited budget that we had, now we even have less. We couldn't take everyone in, and now I want to express that I'm really grateful for the fact that we now have the program for the seniors with VSA, the Ministry of VSA.
Yes.
So that will continue, hopefully in 2026. We're still talking about it, but they are taking care of the seniors.
Okay, understood.
But we also have so many families that are asking for help, and right now, because of that budget cut, most probably we won't be able to have anyone else besides the seniors.
Okay, so you're saying because of your corporate sponsor that has been taking care of you for the last almost 7 years, because they're going to come out in 2026, then you will be, with a big void within your daily operations, which would then diminish or actually eliminate the food program altogether for those 300 families that you're currently hosting?
Yeah, and also because we get funding, of course, also from St.Maarten Development Fund and some of the Oranje funds, but they do bits and pieces.
Yes.
They pay a little bit of the rent. They pay one staff member. They pay a little bit of an insurance. So they don't pay everything because they don't how do you say, support the whole foundation. They support one particular part of a program.
I got it.
So the moment, and he would fill those gaps basically.
Yes.
And the moment that falls away, basically everything falls apart because I cannot pay half of my rent to Wi-Fi because I need the other half as well. You understand?
Understood. Of course. So now you're on a campaign to reach out to the community of St.Maarten and beyond to see if you can get some help or corporate sponsorship that would, help you to keep your program sustainable. And so we're talking about you need something like $10,000 a month.
Yeah, and then then we were actually, before this all happened, we were saying listen, we need an extra $10,000 for the people who are requesting the help. Now, my goal is first, of course, the first $10,000, don't get me wrong, but the need is so high that I would appreciate if we can continue the way we were, but we also have to understand, and I think that's also important message for St.Maarten to understand that there's the living conditions on St.Maarten for many people they're surviving. I said, you have $12.50 to get food per week. Now, if you're a family of 4, that means you get $50 worth. But still, how will you survive? And that's the bare minimum. So,
and have you spoken? I mean, like you said, you have an elderly program going on with the Ministry of ASA. Have you spoken to the minister, the prime minister, and different, everybody, the parliamentarians, the ministers, as to, hey, this is what we know. We are the frontliners of, here is poverty right in front of our doorstep
every day.
Literally. How can we go about changing that? Because I want to know something. If during COVID, did you see a spike in regards to, hey, we need food and clothes
definitely. I think that's two sides. What DJ just said is that the shame was gone then.
Because everybody had the same problem.
No one had a job anymore. But I think I don't remember the numbers anymore, but I think had like 13,000 families in that total program that we did with the Red Cross and Kivan and all of that. That was immense. It was almost all of St. Maarten was in that food program.
Didn't we do 800 food boxes every week?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
800 every week.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a lot of food.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
a lot of food.
I did a survey last week under our beneficiaries. We have a big WhatsApp network. I told you. I just told you about. You know, the 3,300. They're all in my phone. And I asked everybody who are in our WhatsApp groups. That's how we communicate with our beneficiaries. If we had unlimited funds, would you want to be part of our Freegan food market? Almost 250 persons replied yes.
Wow. That's amazing. That's like incredible, you know. And I think because you are working closely with these families that can't afford to buy the food, okay, or they need that additional assistance because they have to make a choice. It's either I buy food or I pay my light bill or I pay my internet or I pay whatever bill that they are faced with in order to be operational, in order to put a little bread for their kids to go to school and stuff like that. That we're now in 2025 and we're dealing with these intense situations. Just the other day, my colleague and I were talking about it and we were like, how are people living in St. Maarten?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
The groceries are like sky high.
Yeah.
Even your salaries are not changing.
Exactly that.
How the rents are like ridiculous.
Yeah.
How are people surviving in St. Maarten? I wonder. And like you say, the cars are not driving on water. They're driving on gasoline.
Exactly.
Gasoline prices fluctuate up and down. The electricity bills go up or down, or we don't know what's going down. So, and then you're thinking to yourself, how?
Yeah.
How they doing it?
How do they do it? And it's living together with your parents. It's sharing kitchens, sharing showers, and I've been thinking of getting someone like a journalist or someone and just go in the neighborhoods where we serve and see how people live, because sometimes I get pictures from people because they want to apply for the food bank and then to make it more poignant, or I don't know if that's the word, they send me pictures of how they live, and I'm like,
wow.
Some people don't even have a door in their house. I mean, they're still. I'm like, I mean. There are areas that we all know that you just look up the mountain and go like that. I don't know how those people live. If it rains like it did last week, it must run through their house. And like I just said, still they get up, still they do their thing. So I think that is so remarkable how people do that here.
Definitely.
That people keep on going
because
while we know that
there's a sort of resilience that our community has, that no matter what challenges they face, they still go out, put a smile, do what they need to do to get through the day. I guess that also helps them, and it's very sad because I mean the work that you do out of your heart for the community of St. Maarten, what all started as, we just want to help.
We just want to help.
We just want to help, because we had a great time as teachers back then. Let's go back and help. And now we're like 8 years further. And, you're doing this daily.
And it's also something, it's
commendable.
A passion, which I didn't know that it was. But it's because sometimes I miss home and I miss my friends and my mom and dad and blah, blah, blah. And then I feel like, do I want to stay longer on St. Maarten? But then I think of my job as like, there's no way that I would want to stop that, because it fulfills me with so much joy and how do you say that? Compassion, maybe.
Yes.
Not the word to say, but because we help so many people, and not only that we help them, but also we people have an opportunity to go somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
To knock on the door and say, like, listen, I don't have any food. And we always say, like, listen, your fridge cannot be empty. Because in Freegan Food Foundation, because of the food waste that we run, we always have something.
Right.
You know, there's always a meal to get. Sometimes we get people who live on the boardwalk who are homeless.
They just come
in and, you know, it's fine here and get a juice and whatever, and they come and it's fine. And I think that's also the strength of the foundation is that there is a place for people to knock on the door.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we will try to help you. And
We
people
will always
see that
welcome
also.
you.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, I'm thinking, run me through the process of the intake, because you said you had about 300 families that you're currently feeding, right?
Yeah.
Run me through that process. How does that work?
Basically, we do, for the food market, we do half a year runs.
Okay.
So people are in the program for 6 months.
Okay.
And before that, they have to do an intake. And it's a personal conversation between a volunteer and them to see how the personal situation is. So it's everything about, of course, the household composition, how many people are in the house, if there are any medical issues that we need to know of, but then also if they pay rent, how much it is, what the GB bill is kind of per month. And then we have this system that we can see who is, and it's horrible to say, but that's how it is because we don't have unlimited funds, who is most eligible for the program. And then we help the people who need it most first.
Of course.
And then we have priorities with pregnant women, single moms with minors,
yes.
elderly with minors in the house, and all of that.
And I cannot stress enough, because if ever we get negative feedback, it's obviously, and I totally understand, because we have to refuse people. We have to tell them no, it's not possible. If we would have unlimited funds, I would help everybody. I would want to help everybody.
Of course, but you have to be realistic too.
Yeah, and realisticism, that's not a word, but our cutoff, so to speak, salary-wise, is if someone makes more than 400 guilders a month, then most probably they are not eligible. So, of course, if less people would ask for help, that bar would go up and up and up. But imagine, what do you do with 400 guilders a month? That is, so if you were two, it's 800 guilders. If you were four, it's 1,500 guilders a month. And that's where we started in 2021, and it hasn't changed, because still there's so many people asking for help that I don't have to raise the bar, which I would love to, but it's not possible.
And also every year, what we feel every year is September, August, September, October, you know, when the season kicks in.
Oh, of course.
People get fired, they don't have a job anymore, because unfortunately still some businesses think that they can only hire their people for 6 months a year.
The 6 months kind of style, yes.
So this time is crazy busy. A lot of people who ask for help.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know, going forward, of course, with Freegan Foods, I mean, for the next 2 months, you would say little 1.5 month until December 31st, you still have these operational costs from your sponsor, correct?
Yeah.
And then per January 1, 2026, then what?
Then we don't know.
We're hoping for a miracle.
We're still aiming for, first, to make people understand that we are there, but we are also in need, because Freegan also, you know, we exist, and wherever you go, people recognize us, and
of
it's
course.
always happy. And
you guys are great.
But I think people also, thank you, also need to understand that we run a business, basically, and that needs money. So I want people to understand, and that's the first thing to do, is like, if you have $10 a month to spare, if you can leave your whatever broodje you get in the afternoon once a month and donate that amount to Freegan, that would help a lot, because it's a lot of money, but if we're talking about the $10,000, we only need 1,000 people who sponsor $10 a month.
Yes.
We have 40,000 people on the island.
Yes.
Or 100 who donate 100 a month.
And then, of course,
that's a great idea.
Right?
I mean, that's a great idea.
Right?
Of course. Or maybe you can do like a drop off your $10 on this particular day, and then or drop off $100 on this $50 $2 or whatever on a specific day, and then you just fill up your bucket, you know, in
exactly.
that way.
Yeah.
And then every month you have, okay, by the 5th of the month, we need to raise this money, drop off all your donations between this time and that time. I'm just giving an idea there.
No, but it's fantastic.
You know, fill the bucket, fill the Freegan food bucket.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Jos just told me in the car that he spoke to somebody yesterday, I will not mention any names, that said that he's going to donate from January on $100 every month.
Oh wow!
So that, for me, that was like I was really happy because I felt like that could be the beginning. You know, that could be like the start, because we're happy with one-time donations, obviously, but actually, to be really honest, what we need is people who commit for at least a year.
Of course, I think, you know, it's like maybe what you could also do. I'm just thinking out loud, out of the box. I like these types of projects. Perhaps you can do like adopt Freegan food for a year.
Well, to be honest, I mean, you have, you know, those programs are like adopt a family.
Yes.
I mean, and of course, it's not literally
you
you're
can
not going to
sponsor
meet
a family.
the one
No,
that
of
you're
course
sponsoring.
not.
But it could be like for $50 a month, you sponsor a family of 4.
I think that's great.
And to think even bigger, I actually cannot imagine that there are not 10 businesses on the island that can miss $1,000 a month.
Well, you know, that's
because there's a lot.
There are lots
big wealthy businesses on the island.
Of course.
Let's talk casinos.
Yeah, but true.
For instance, right?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you two can approach them directly.
We have to apply.
Of course, what I said about the personal
the
part,
businesses directly, and let them know your quest. Let them know what you're doing, and you know, I think when people feel that they're part of something bigger than themselves, it generates that, like, yes, I want to be part of something great, because you are in actuality volunteering and giving back to your community.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think this is a great opportunity to do so.
To give back.
You know, and maybe you can do different days within the month, or one day a month that you do different activities where you just tell people, come in. You know, donation drive, just pass, drop off $5, $10, $20, whatever, and then, you know, you like that every month, that you know, hey, you, plus with people who adopt a family, and all those things, they add up.
Yeah, no, and that's what you say is like
an activity plan for the year.
We talk to a lot of people also. I want to volunteer, but I don't have the time. It's what you say. Then, if you can't volunteer, donate the $10, donate the $25, because then you also volunteer. It's just not your time; it's just the money.
Exactly.
And if you don't have the money, share it on the socials, so people know that we need any help. So that also helps.
And yes, but I know too that Joost, you did a fundraiser in Holland some time ago.
We did many. So wondering where you're going.
We did many.
That you walked from Holland to Spain. Tell me about that. Fundraiser.
I did the Camino de Santiago.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a pilgrimage. It's a well-known pilgrimage, and you get to Santiago de Compostela, which is in Spain. But I started in Lourdes, in the south of France.
Okay.
Can I add, he walked 1,000 kilometers.
Wow.
Well, you know what the funny thing is? I wanted to walk the northern coast of Spain. And I was like, that's 800 kilometers. I was like, but I've never been to Lourdes, which is also a pilgrimage, well-known pilgrimage town. And then I checked the amount of kilometers that was from Lourdes to Santiago de Compostela. It was,
mind you,
10.10 kilometers.
10, 10, 10.
1,010. And I was like, I live on St.Maarten.
10, 10, 10.
It's 10, 10, 10. Okay, I have to start there.
We just had Constitution Day, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I walked for 7 weeks. Yeah.
Wow. Yes, I was following you, your vlogs, and your feet were hurting,
oh my God,
and you were running out of food, and it was a very beautiful
in France,
story.
it's hard to be vegan. So
Yeah.
But it was a
I
good
lived
way.
off of vending machines for a few nights.
Yes,
it was a good way to raise awareness and money for the foundation. So it was really good.
Well, I'm glad that you, how you say, in dire situations, of course, it forces you to think out of the box.
Yeah. Yes.
And I know that you guys are in the entertainment industry and you know all about that. You also do your tribute shows that help with donations, and stuff like that. So, but then, after a while, it's like you want something kind of consistent, like your sponsor
also,
for 7 years.
Yeah, sort of like effortless.
Because it releases that kind of a headache of like, oh, I got to do this month again. Oh, I got to do this. Like hustle.
It's very stressful.
I got to hustle.
Yeah, and we have salaries to pay. We have rent to pay. We have GB to pay. So that comes every month.
Right.
So then if you know that at least that money is in, then it's good.
It's
but
more relaxing.
Right now it gets so stressful because it's not my job or anything that's on the line, or the rent from Wi-Fi I cannot pay. It's the programs, it's the food that I cannot afford
the main
anymore.
thing.
Yeah. And that makes it so hard, because we do this because we want to feed people, and if there's no more food, then there's no use for us being there.
Yes, I know, and I really hope, of course, with your plea to the community of St. Maarten and beyond through Facebook and internet, that perhaps you find a sponsor and community effort. We can do like a community day where everybody comes and puts some money in the Freegan food bucket, and like that can help you maybe for 2-3 months, support you.
For sure.
And then we do it for another quartal, and then, something like that. So, we can get together and brainstorm on ideas on how we can keep it sustainable, because it would be very, very unfortunate for these families, like you say, maybe it's 4 people in a family situation where, the mother has a job, yes, but doesn't have enough money to cover for the food for her kids.
Yeah, exactly.
And it would be very unfortunate to have kids, and I know that their kids are going school hungry, but at least your effort to help maybe 1/4 of the population is something very impactful. So we need to keep Freegan food going. We need to keep them alive. We need you guys, because you do work that is so instrumental to the community of St. Maarten. So, I guess if everybody gets on board, we will definitely find a way.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really positive about it.
I keep thinking about, we did a big ass fundraiser, maybe you remember, in 2011 for the tsunami in Japan. That was in Guana Bay.
Yes.
That was one night. We organized the whole thing. It became a big thing. We raised $23,000 in one night.
Well, there you
for
go.
Japan.
There you go. So if we can do it for Japan, we can do it for
our own island.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So then, you need to organize another big event, something like that.
Yeah.
And
Well, we have one the end of November.
Okay.
So it's in Thanksgiving's weekend. So I think it's the 29th out of my head on Saturday. So we will get back to you.
It's our 7th anniversary. So it's going to be Freegan Festival.
A Freegan Festival. Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. And that's going to be fundraising.
Okay, great. So there you have it.
Yeah.
So again, people of St. Maarten and beyond who are listening online, remember that Freegan Food Foundation has been around for quite some time. They're going to be celebrating their 7-year anniversary come November. And of course, we want to continue to help these families that are in dire need of, food, because, basic things like eating bread or butter and just getting a hot meal a day is important. Nobody should feel hungry in our island of St. Maarten. Nope. So, let's come on out, contact Freegan Food. All little bits help to fill up a bucket.
Yes.
And I know St. Maarten is a resilient country, and we know how to come together to help each other. So I'm very positive, and I'm sending out all the positive energy out there that you will get back on your feet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. Freegan Food, let's help them.